Welcome to the Blessed to Teach show. This is Rick, your host, here on Thursday, May 30th. And we are talking about Mueller and the hit job to impeach. And SB2 Decode, tons of news. And boy, is it on, we are on fire here. So I see a bunch of people coming on here from Tennessee and California and Minnesota, Texas, Springville, Missouri, where we're at, Golden Valley, Arizona, Illinois, Kansas, Iowa, California mountains, Arizona. Let's get rolling here. Again, this is the Blessed Teach show here. I'm Rick, your host. The hit job to impeach by Mueller, and SB2 Decode on that, as well as an alternative opinion from a Twitter Decode that we'll see. That's quite different. A Twitter thread. I'm sorry. So let's dig into this right now. I tried to use this new method of giving you guys warning 45 minutes before I went live. It looks like it's working. Let me know if you see any problems. Hit 1 if everything's cool. If 2 if you see some problems with the way that this is being broadcast live on YouTube right now using the event feature. All right, let's jump into show you that there has been no more Q drops since May 26th still, but boy, do we have news everywhere. One of the most exciting pieces of news I wanted to jump into right away was this CNN deal. CNN lays off most entire division, surprises employees. And then we see that they're not even, they're going to net 90 as well. On another post I saw, net 90 to their contractors. So tell you what, CNN is in trouble. I see lots of ones, just 1, 2. So Joe, you probably have something wrong on your side. Everybody else is a 1. Thank you guys so much for that input. That's what I love about live streaming. We know things are going well. So, hey, my sponsor for this episode is the Trump coin, guys. This is an amazing coin, but even this silver 10-ounce bar is even amazing. So this is given, you can get 11 ounces of silver. You've seen this coin many times. I've shown you, I'm sure. Beautiful rendition of Donald J. Trump on the back saying, delivering as promised. The 4 major accomplishments there. I think this is a limited edition, going to be kind of a collector's type item. And then this 10-ounce bar is just gorgeous. I keep getting too many fingerprints on it, but because I'm showing it to everybody. This is a beautiful 10-ounce gold bar with an American flag, and on the back it says, "United We Stand." Gorgeous 10-ounce bar. Again, you can get this package, both of these, and you get $30 off that package. I think it's $249. But if you go to the cart and make sure you put Blessed to Teach 30, and you have to put spaces in there with the number 2. Blessed to the number 2, Teach 30. You see it come pop up there because I've typed it in several times. Bless, space 2, space teach, space 30, and apply the coupon, and you will see, I've got multiple of them here, but it's $30 per group you want to buy. I've got 2 in here, so I've knocked that down to 1. It would actually take that to the $30 removal. It's showing it for two right now, but you see that. But hey, another important point, guys, you can get these 2 things for free if you want to open up an IRA in gold, which I think is a potentially awesome idea. I'm not a financial advisor, but if you have old 401ks rolling around and you have at least $20,000 to put into an IRA, they will give you this 11 ounces of free, completely free. So call 877-646-5347. Again, 877-646-5347. And you can mention Blessed to Teach when you call there. There's also a link down below here where you can do those 2 things. Let's get rolling here on Bob Mueller. This is a SB2 Decode. Okay, and now I'm going to give you an alternative opinion from Clandestine at Rod Sneaky on Thread. So this is the Mueller's a white hat still going on, and this is SB2. Mueller is a black hat. So let's dig into first the SB2 Decode here. He says, like clockwork, everything is moving as planned. I told you in this post and this one that Mueller, Comey, and Rosenstein were black hats. I also told you that Rosenstein tried everything he could to destroy Trump's presidency, but he was defeated. I also told you he was the main obstacle to D-Class. Q2397. Remember, POTUS already ordered the D-Class. Rod Rosenstein pushed back hard. Barr kept Rosenstein around to have him validate the Mueller report that essentially contradicts the FISA he previously authorized against Trump. Then Barr gave him a nice party invited Sessions to the party so that the skilled observers may triangulate what is really going on and assign him the last task of singing as loud as he could on his way out. Rosenstein happily delivered by sniping Comey here. And you probably remember this, where he actually says, Rosenstein unloads on Comey, says he broke bright lines that should never be crossed. So this was a pretty damning, not only did he suggest Comey was be fired in the beginning, he actually lambasted him on the way out as well. So the whole Comey Moab that we saw right here, that was the last thing on the board for quite a while, right? With the big, I'm going down to that real quick. Sorry for the scrolling for those of you who are looking and getting dizzy. But it was just a beautiful, with a Moab coming right on him. I don't know why that's, where's it hiding? So anyway, I was going to show you that real quick. But that whole thing about the Moab coming right down on Comey was quite hilarious. And I think that's exactly what we're talking about here, is that he is in trouble. And you see here, then I told you in this post that declass was imminent. POTUS authorized it the next day. So SB2 has been right on here, it seems like, lately. I told you yesterday in this post that Comey's arrest is imminent. Popcorn. I also told you in this post that Schiff is a CIA or C_A, Black Ops CIA asset controlled by Brennan, and that you should watch how Schiff will react when Comey goes down. You'll see he'll have a completely different reaction when it's Brennan's turn to bite the dust. Who's left? Yes, Mueller, Comey's lover. There's a link to him being Comey's lover. If you've missed that, go back and look at my previous deals. Now here's Trump talking about it.
He's no friend of mine. I had conflicts with him. We had a business dispute. We had somebody that is in love with James Comey. We like James Comey. They were very good friends, supposedly best friends. Maybe not, but supposedly best friends. You look at the picture file and you see hundreds of pictures of him and Comey. And with all of that and other things, he wanted the FBI job. I don't know if anybody knows that, but as you know, he was considered for the FBI job, wanted it. And the day after he didn't get it, he became the special counsel. That's a conflict.
That's a conflict. So that's interesting there. He came out of the woods yesterday talking about Mueller. The same day I announced Comey's arrest was imminent. Why? Because he reached the same conclusion. He knows Comey's toast. The difference is he's in love with him. He can't think straight. I coldly wrote about it with my keyboard. He made a public statement with a trembling voice. And I don't know, that was wild. He seemed feeble, almost sick. So listen to this first part of this.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. 2 years ago, the acting Attorney General asked me to serve as special...
You hear that? Shortness of breath, much weaker. I mean, he had a powerful voice when you heard him talk in the past. He was like a weasel, weak, and either scared and or just feeble and weak. Who knows? Those who are familiar with my Q writings and who are familiar with Q and my writings are not surprised by Mueller's yesterday move. They knew Mueller's tactical purpose was to use the special counsel to clean up the mess. Q 2116, Mueller to Papadopoulos. Then all in capitals it says, you must target, remove, and silence all those illegally targeted for FISA surveillance. So everybody that was targeted, such as Carter Page was targeted for FISA, Papadopoulos, Flynn, and they just tacked them like mad so they would not, the illegal spying would not be uncovered. And that is, the strategic goal was impeachment. Q 1974, Mueller, impeach POTUS operation, but we never worried about it. Q 2584, impeachment requires 2/3 vote by the Senate. What are the odds of that? The infernal trio Mueller, Comey, Rosenstein, and the Dems thought they had time to prepare an impeachment process with all the optics required to make it successful, or at least usable for the 2020 campaign. Mueller found there was no collusion as early as November of 2017. Q 3316. At what point did Mueller determine there was no collusion? 18 months ago? I love how Q answers his own questions all the time, right? But with RR's help, Rod Rosenstein's help, he let the clock run, expand his investigation, and was hoping to build his obstruction case with the mistakes the maestro never ended up doing. When Barr got in, things accelerated. Rod Rosenstein out. The report out. No collusion, no obstruction. And Schiff lost the insurance policy he thought was running when threatening to go after POTUS's children. Q 3063. What insurance did they hang over POTUS's head in order to prevent action? A father's love for his children knows no bounds. Q. They lost everything and needed a new plan. They needed this plan yesterday because the first D-class collateral damage is around the corner. Q 3028. Think timing. Pelosi pull threat to impeach. Effort to prevent D-class. With Rod Rosenstein out and their beloved special counsel instrument dismantled, Dems had a problem. How do you get the ball from Mueller without having him to testify before Congress and answer these very difficult questions? When did you find out there was no collusion? Q 3316. Then why was the investigation kept going? Midterms? Are you aware of John Doe requests from Nick Lewin? Q 3132. Do you know Jeffrey Epstein? Have you ever visited his island? Was Uranium One a transaction you think preserved our security? Q 2512. What's your involvement in Uranium One? Did you have IT experts in your staff? With the powers you had, were you finally able to access the DNC server and the FBI did not see? Did you think access to the server would have helped tremendously your investigation and improve your knowledge of the hacking? Do you know Seth Rich? Do you know Julian Assange? You can imagine Robert Mueller trying to answer these questions. He goes on. Are you aware Seth Rich sent the content of a USB drive to Assange? What was the justification for massive investigation, domestic, foreign, on Trump and his campaign? Q 2777. Since the Steele dossier was the starting point for the investigation, did you do your due diligence on the dossier? Did you determine who funded it? No. Q 2777. So you relied on the FISC? Did you notice all the 4 FISA judges who approved the 4 FISAs were appointed by Republican presidents, Bush Jr. and Reagan? Didn't you find it odd? Was Fisk made aware of the details surrounding the Steele dossier? No. Don't you think it was then your responsibility to investigate these details for the manifestation of the truth? What justification did you give the Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein for him to expand your mandate? Why was this expansion not reported to Congress? Were you seeking for a crime outside of Russia collusion? Did you investigate POTUS finances? Were you contemplating investing POTUS tweets for obstruction charges? Q 1711. It is open source information that Senator McCain gave the Steele dossier to the FBI. Are you aware? Then why isn't Senator McCain mentioned even once in your 448-page report to confirm at least that open source information? Do you know Glenn Simpson and Fusion GPS? Assuming you did the proper due diligence at the Steele dossier, did you know Steele was hired by Fusion GPS, which was in turn hired by the DNC through its law firm Perkins Coie? Were you aware that former FBI General Counsel James Baker met during the 2016 season with at least one attempt from Perkins? Q 2330. Glenn Simpson, Fusion GPS, and Perkins Coie are therefore key to manifestation of the truth, why are they not mentioned even once in your 448-page report? Do you know Bruce Orr? Are you aware his personal relationship with Glenn Simpson? Do you know his wife Nellie Orr? Did you know Nellie Orr was hired by Fusion GPS and was involved in the production of the Steele dossier? Did you know Bruce Orr was the conduit for Steele at the DOJ and that all their interactions were reported by Bruce Orr to Sally Yates? Did you know Bruce Orr ultimately told the FBI that the Steele dossier was not true? Q 2041. Since Bruce Orr's involvement was this crucial, why didn't you call him to testify? Q 1974. Why didn't you call Nellie Orr to testify? How about Glenn Simpson and John McCain and Christopher Steele? As you can see, Mueller testifying before Congress would have been carnage. So, Nadler and Mueller set up in sync a way that Mueller could say just enough to get the impeachment ball rolling without having to be grilled by Congress. Why didn't Mueller make this statement earlier? Answer: because Comey's arrest was not imminent. The dark stars aligned, and it was time for Mueller to forget his most elementary law school classes and suggest that from now on, each American citizen would seek for a document from the DOJ unequivocally attesting he did not commit a crime. So silly. Our 12-year FBI director shamelessly says this, quote, "And as I set forth in the report, after that investigation, if we had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so. We did not, however, make a determination as to whether the president did commit a crime." So that is so stupid. That is not his job. No prosecutor tries to prove you didn't do a crime. They prove to see if you have enough evidence to move forward with an investigation, and they didn't. And cowardly says, quote, "Now I hope that," and this is Mueller again, quote, "Now I hope and expect this to be the only time that I speak to you in this manner. I am making that decision myself. No one has told me whether I can or should testify or speak further about this matter." Well, sorry, Bob. That was end quote. Sorry, Bob. If there are impeachment hearings, I'm pretty sure many Republicans in Congress will want to hear a little more from you before sending the ball to the Senate for immediate deflation. Q 2582. These people are stupid. Q. One last thing I need to clarify about Mueller is his meeting with POTUS when he wanted the FBI director job. Q challenges us and says, Q 1285, Congress passed Public Law 94-503, limiting the FBI director to a single term of no longer than 10 years. Reconcile. Q. In this article, we discover Mueller was appointed FBI director by Bush 7 days before the 9/11 terrorist attacks and exceptionally served 12 years in that post. Hussein sought a 2-year extension to Mueller's term given the nation's heightened concern about another attack. Look how Comey lovingly supported it. So if you listen to this whole thing about an affair and a love between Comey and Mueller, you can kind of see it here in his language after Mueller got the 2-year extension.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Senator Grassley and distinguished members of this committee, thank you for inviting me to testify here today. It is great to be back in this room before this distinguished committee, and especially to offer my voice in support of an extension of Director Bob Mueller's term for 2 years. I know Bob Mueller very well and believe he is one of the finest public servants this nation has ever seen. In his decade as director, I think he has made huge strides in transforming the FBI and has contributed enormously to the safety of the American people. When I was Deputy Attorney General during those 2 years, I spoke to Bob Mueller nearly every day, and I watched as his remarkable combination of intellect and tenacity drove the FBI's counterterrorism efforts. Because the director's standards were so high, everybody's work had to be better. His relentless probing, which was rooted in an almost encyclopedic knowledge of the enemy and our capabilities to respond to the enemy rippled through the FBI and the rest of the national security community.
So when you have Trump saying that he loved Comey, Mueller loved Comey, well, and Comey loved Mueller, well, there's pretty good proof there. That is like brown nosing all the way. So Mueller gets the job a few days before 9/11, organizes the 9/11 investigation cover-up, and gets a 2-year extension because there supposedly was a threat of another attack, which did not happen. Okay? Are you aware of the 9/11 SRES.610 resolution in Q2328? With what you know, do you see it? I told you John Kerry was bin Laden's handler and Comey was ISIS Baghdadi's. The only way Mueller could have had the FBI director job again is if he and his buddies in the intelligence community played the same extension card and convinced Trump that there were concerns about an attack. Trump did not fall for it. There was no way he would have handled this supposed attack with Uranium One Mueller at the helm. He had true patriots in the team available for that. The next day, Rosenstein appointed Mueller special counsel. Q154. Perhaps someday people will understand they had a plan to conduct another mass extinction event. Woo, heavy stuff from SB2 there. I tell you what, I wanted to also give you another view of this that's a little bit different, and this is this clandestine where he's going to get into more the white hat theory that's still alive. Most people thought it was completely dead, but there's still some out there with it. Before that, I want to get to the second sponsor of this. These guys have been one of my best sponsors, and they're obviously with the best device I've ever seen, with a solar-powered flashlight that can charge up your cell phones or other devices with a USB. This thing is absolutely amazing. Just the fact that it can shine, it can fire up in non-direct sunlight and actually be able to have the power to charge up your phones. And also just be safety for your cars, as well as being able to charge up your phones with a glass breaker, a seatbelt cutter or rope cutter, a powerful magnet. And obviously, if your water goes underwater, you could break the glass and cut your seatbelt. That would be one example. And other just safety devices if you're out in the wilderness. And this light, the flashlight, is amazing, super bright. It's got the dimmer one and it's got the flash. You hold that button down, it flips over to these, which turn into strobe lights. You can go to different modes there as well, scare people to death with the with the flashlight there. Plus it has a compass, plus it has a siren. So this thing is just an amazing device, a $140 device you can get for half price, and then even bigger discount if you buy multiple, and then another 20% off with my coupon code, right? So again, if you buy 3 of these right here and you go up to the top where it says show order summary, click on that, there's the coupon code, and you're gonna put blessed20 in here and hit apply coupon. It takes another $29.99, another $30 off, and so for less than the price of 3 you get, less than the price of 1, you get 3 flashlights. So tell you what, crazy stuff here. So here we go. Let's keep on rolling here with some people are talking. Joe Martinez is funny. He says, "You're not thinking Mueller is a gray hat anymore." Well, I personally am agreeing with SB2. But there are people that are still on the black hat theory, including clandestine here. Here we go. Rod Sneaky is the guy who really thinks that, whoever runs this code. So let's see what he says about the potential white hat still alive. He says, LMAO, Trump is screaming it at you all in broad daylight. He is taunting the deep state and the Dems. Trump is engaging in theater here by broadcasting about the meeting where he took control of Mueller. Let's break this colossal tweet down and go back to the genesis of the special counsel. So here's Trump's tweet where he said, Robert Mueller came to the Oval Office and with other potential candidates seeking to be named the director of the FBI. He had already been in that position for 12 years. I told him no. The next day he was named special counsel, a total conflict of interest. Nice. So then he keeps on. He goes, firstly, Mueller did waltz to the Oval Office demanding a position. Firstly, Mueller did not waltz into the Oval Office demanding a position. Trump invited Mueller for an interview for a position Mueller was legally ineligible for. They talked in private for 6 hours. And that's interesting. I thought it was like 3 hours, but he's claiming 6 here. Mueller was named to the special counsel the next day by Rosenstein. You all think Trump had no idea that Rod Rosenstein, his own appointee and underling, was going to appoint someone to the special counsel? Trump wasn't interviewing Mueller for the FBI director. Trump was interviewing Mueller to join the plan and engage in the biggest sting ever conceived. So clandestine's back on the gray hat, white, type thing. Clandestine continues on his fourth tweet here. Huge Q proof, by the way. Early drops point specifically to this meeting and the significance of Mueller's military background. I'm 100% certain that Trump gave Mueller an option to join him or perish. Mueller chose to join Trump. He's been on Trump's payroll since May 2017. And here you see Robert Mueller came to the Oval Office along with other potential candidates seeking to be named director of the SBI. And here it says on drop, this is the one that really convinced me early on, October of 2017, October 31st, Halloween of 2017, way back when. It says, why did Mueller meet POTUS one day prior to the FBI announcement if Mueller could not be offered director due to the previous term limits rule? All right, Amy Booker is on Periscope. I'm not sure about that. So no, I'm not on Periscope, Charlotte. One, I was doing the dual broadcast. It just didn't work well, and since 99% of my audience is here live on YouTube, I do that. But I do go on to, by the way, I do go on to other. I'm sorry, podcasts. So I'm on YouTube. So iTunes as well as iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, many others. Okay, so now here you can see that was one of the posts, and plus the one about attacking somebody. How do you attack a wild animal? Not through the front door, right? You just trick him. So Mueller's job was to convince the Dems and the media that he was on their side and conduct what appeared to be a thorough investigation. Optics. This way, there could not be a cry for cover-up. It looked like a 2-year intense witch hunt. Dems have to accept this result. Mueller also served an imperative role in completely dismantling the credibility of the media. They took all of his leaks and followed all the shiny red balls that led them to nothing, keeping them distracted while Trump implemented his policy via EO, executive order, and cleansed the courts. The Dems thought they still had a chance with Mueller and kept them complacent and kept the sheep from doing something drastic. Now look at the result. Trump is safe from impeachment. Wall is going up. D-class is happening. MS viewership's down significantly. We are winning. And it's interesting, there's other views that talk about this, is that you don't judge Mueller for what he says or how he acts. You judge him for his results. And the results is he completely cleared Trump, except for baiting the Dems into trying to do impeachment, right? So who knows? So this black hat, gray hat thing's still alive, according to Clandestine here. For all of you who think the sky is falling just because the media interpreted Mueller's presser as rallying cry for impeachment, calm down. We already won. Mueller had to maintain the optics on his way out. So now the Dems can't accuse Mueller of flipping. It's a show. Trump won the presidency. Therefore, the deep state doesn't have control. If they had control, they wouldn't let Trump take control. Trump took control, meaning they don't have control. It's that simple. The evidence is incontrovertible. Reality cannot be debated. Trump won. Also, at the end of Trump's tweet, conflict of interest, nice, Yes, Trump meeting with Mueller the day before he was announced as to special counsel is a conflict of interest. Yet the Dems don't talk about it because they thought Mueller was their guy. Trump is trolling nice. And you'll see back here on several posts, like this one that was about the bakers and everything. It says, trolling the fake news media is so much fun, Q says. In this drop. Another drop, he says, trolling the fake news media is fun. And another one. Here's a third one. The art of trolling the fake news media. Step 1. Then he's got some tweets. Step 2, step 3 just shows everything about how Trump is a master at trolling the media, trolling them. This tweet from Trump is a massive hint to the Anons and a massive troll to the enemies. He's drawing all of our attention to this meeting for a reason. You can believe Trump's bringing this up the day after the special counsel concludes is a coincidence. I choose to know the truth. so interesting. So the very thing that held me on the whole gray hat, black hat, he's still on, clandestine is. But I think that with the whole gay thing and love potential, right? Then SB2 information. If SB2 is not being disinformation for this movement, then I think they were definitely black hats at this point in time, based on everything I've seen. But that's still a possibility. It would, the biggest thing in history, like I told everybody I was arguing back and forth, was basically saying, hey, it wouldn't be, if we all agreed, it wouldn't be a very big sting. And now if they've taken me out of it and it ends up being a sting, that was really good. Because if they took me out of it and took Neon out of it and took all these other people that thought he was a gray hat, then and then it ends up really being a gray hat later, it'll be amazing sting. But again, that's kind of just the two different perspectives I want to give you, and I don't think we're supposed to know, guys. I really believe that because this whole military intelligence operation is a way to inform us and also confuse the enemy. So remember that disinformation is a very big part of this whole thing. Let's continue on with some other news. Here's an Anon saying Trump risked his entire empire, reputation, children's futures, and his life when he agreed to play this game. Assuming Hillary at all thought Trump was a buddy they could manipulate and told Trump, hey, run for prez, win the primaries, then self-destruct so Hillary can easily slide to presidency. You will be taken care of for your efforts. Pinky swear? Then what Hillary was actually planning was frame Trump for conspiring with Russia to win the primaries, completely destroy Trump with phony Russia accusations, wipe out his business empire, send him to prison, and tarnish his name so badly his children would never find work from McJobs. Assuming Trump knew all of this, informed by the U.S. military, then he knew he had to win. Further, he knew that once he won, they would do everything in their power to remove, destroy, kill him. Talk about big kahunas. Although, perhaps after rolling around in the mud of the New York construction business for decades, he viewed politics like a bunch of amateurs. Ha! Prayers for POTUS and family. Thought that was a pretty awesome post there by an Anon on Vote. It's voat.co if you want to follow me there. Here you got R. Kelly charged with 11 new counts of sex abuse and assault with children aged 13 to 16. So all these people, all these pedophiles are all around. And I liked what this Anon, the first comment said here. It's got 10 upvotes. An error occurred. Looks like I might not be logged in. It says, think about it. The deep state, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, have had this info on R. Kelly for years. This is how they keep control. Blackmail. So that tells us that they knowingly have allowed pedophiles on the sort to work for them until they need a sacrifice. Until they need to sacrifice them for whatever reason. Imagine what they have on politicians. No wonder they all stay in line. You could replace R. Kelly's name with practically anybody in Hollywood or politics, and the story would read about the same. So, but we talked about that. It's just they framing people, whether it's with pedophilia or fake pictures or planted evidence of the hammer, and get everybody under control that way, including even up to the Supreme Court. Now, this is kind of scary. Sick Julian Assange misses extradition hearing as WikiLeaks expresses grave concerns about his health. So I'm hoping this is, so be praying for Julian Assange. I'm hoping this is misinformation, but there's a full article here in the Daily News here talking about Julian Assange being very sick and not doing well. Here we have FBI, state, and local agencies rescue more than 200 children as part of Operation Safe Summer 2. So this is interesting. It's got a bunch of details on, this is just a consistent theme that's happened ever since Trump got elected. That's why, I'm so proud to have that Trump coin. I'm so proud to have, items to just say I am a supporter of Trump, and I just can't believe, after all this happens, I think it's going to be an amazing time to be able to pull those items out and go, looky here. I was supporting Trump before the arrests happened, before the military tribunals. Here's a Vote.co anon saying, I think I know why the Krassenstein brothers got kicked off Twitter. And I thought this was an awesome theory. Look at this. They were sacrificed because they were no longer useful. They got gamed by the other side. Their last poll was a disgrace. And it only happened because they are no longer able to produce results. And their last poll, they said, would you vote for Biden or Trump? And it just got destroyed. I think it was up to 84% before they deleted the account. 84% Trump. And that was posted by the Krassenstein brothers. So they're fake bots and everything just can't beat we the people when we come together like that. And then he goes on after saying that. And now they are useful in another way. Banning somebody on the left helps Twitter deflect criticism when they're accused of suppressing speech from the right. So they kind of serve two purposes. They're not longer useful, kick them out, but be useful to help Twitter kick off people on the right. Here is another anon saying, no name, ship name covered with a trap for POTUS visit to Yokosuka Naval Base. Classic Q. Anons know why. So if you look at that, supposedly, and somebody said this was fake news, so I'm not sure they're correct, but they said the White House wanted USS John McCain out of sight during Trump's Japan visit, which would be consistent with no name and not having to even mention it, right? Here's Trump tweet. This is interesting, some new news. On June 10th, the United States will impose a 5% tariff on all goods coming into our country from Mexico until such time as illegal migrants coming through Mexico and into our country stop, all capital letters. The tariff will gradually increase until the illegal immigration problem is remedied. Then it goes on in the next tweet to basically say, and it'll be removed once it's resolved. So it could go up to as high as 25%, 5% per month. So this will happen quickly and could be a very big deal. But I think using all tools to fight this is necessary. So this is a big bomb he dropped, I think at 6:30 tonight. 8chan, Q prevented a falsely engineered civil war in America. So there's a full thing here that I haven't had a chance to get into the detail of because it was quite long. But it was interesting to see that this is claiming that the 8chans and Q prevented a huge civil war, and I think there's probably some merit to that. It'll be interesting to see when you can again go to I'll put these links in my show notes. The way you go to the show notes, you go to blessedtoteach.com with the number 2, blessedtoteach.com, and again, that is where you will find all the show notes of everything I show you right now. Here is Sean Hannity saying President Trump isn't letting Dems call the shots on illegal migration any longer. He's taking real action and his political enemies aren't happy. We'll get all the fallout from Donald Trump big time statement tonight. Yeah, so here's him saying, yesterday, Border Patrol agents apprehended the largest group of illegal aliens, over 1,036 people who illegally crossed the border in El Paso around 4 a.m. And you can see here where they were in El Paso crossing here at 4 a.m. Democrats need to stand by our incredible Border Patrol and finally fix the loopholes at our border. It's such a joke, guys, just to see what they're doing on immigration and even not helping the dreamers. They don't care about the dreamers. They just want Trump to fail. They want the country to fail. They need the votes. It's just the scariest thing in the world is to see that we have such idiots running the country in the leadership positions. But sorry, tirade there. Here's Sean Hannity as well. No, this is my Twitter. I just want to let you guys know I am on Twitter at blessedtoteach.com. So I got about 11.4K followers, despite Twitter taking some away. And so this is way less than the 60,000 YouTube subscribers. But I tell you what, it is relenting the censorship here, guys. I'm shadow banned here, but you can see me if you follow me. So I put a lot of tweets here that are easy for you guys to go see. I'll show you here. So I put a lot of memes on here as well, so that a lot of things I've shown you, you'll find on Twitter as well. And then you can copy the memes. A lot of retweeting Donald Trump and just funny things I'm finding, right? So make sure that you follow me on Twitter at blessedtoteach with a T-O, and this time it's the number 2 because the T-O wasn't available on the web, so I had to get blessed with the number 2 teach.com to get to the show notes. And a couple other things. Here's let's listen to Tom Fitton.
You would have thought he was above the fray, but his press conference or press event this week showed that he was out for Trump, suggested he was a crook and needs to be impeached without basis. And he took this approach that I think he may have committed a crime. I'm not sure, but I can't prove he's innocent, which turns the rule of law on its head, as you know. People like President Trump are presumed innocent. And to suggest otherwise from a podium of the Justice Department is a wild abuse of power. Mm-hmm. That's the Alice in Wonderland approach to justice. Verdict first, sentence first, verdict later. And he wants to sentence him to impeachment. And this is inappropriate for the Justice Department to be doing. Certainly an official of the Justice
Tom Fitton using the term Alice in Wonderland, woo, which is a huge Q term as well. So this makes you wonder about some of these mainstream guys like, Hannity, and using the word avalanche like 4 times, and Sarah Carter using the word avalanche constantly. So is John Solomon, and now you have even Tom Fitton using Alice in Wonderland. Let's continue with this.
Department to be doing, and there needs to be an ethics investigation in what went on with that statement, and frankly, an ethics audit of the entire Mueller operation, because as you laid out, there are serious concerns about the way Mueller operated that team there and what they did in terms of the early morning
hiring
raids.
Weissman and Jeannie Ray, and no Republicans said it all. And by the way,
yeah. So anyway, you can see Tom Fitton actually using the term. Alice in Wonderland so much. Let's hear what Hannity says to wrap it up.
I want Mr. Mueller to testify before Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows. I want these questions answered. I don't think he has the courage to do it.
Did he interview himself, as the president mentioned? Did he interview himself as part of this obstruction investigation related to the Comey firing?
Yeah, because he's speaking out of both sides of his mouth.
He's a witness.
Your point. Let me go to...
Heck, interesting stuff. Isn't that interesting? Okay, here we look at Praying Medics. Talks about documents related to Jesse Smollett case have been released by Chicago police. And really, I think people were analyzing this initially, basically showing that they never planned to prosecute him because he was too well connected. The dual justice system showing its ugly head in Chicago, just like you see it in Washington, D.C. Here we are on military deception has a long part of our victorious battle plan. So let's see here. Facts. Dummy paratroopers, dummies called Ruperts, were dropped at various locations to confuse the Germans. So that was in World War II, where we dropped all those fake basic umbrellas, right, to make it look like we were attacking in certain areas and we weren't talking to other areas. So this whole deception is real, right? It works, guys. It actually works. Thanks, Jeff Stewart. You're right. That's treason is what we're seeing here. That's exactly what we're seeing. Here's Joseph Misfud's role went well beyond spying. This is the supposed where Mueller completely lied. Comey's lying, saying that this was a Russian asset. Mueller just hinted toward it. Comey's op-ed in the Washington Post actually said it. Said he was a Russian asset. He was not. He's a Western asset. He's in Italy now. Italy's turning on him. George Papadopoulos is calling this out as well. But this article says Joseph Misfud's role went well beyond spying. It was entrapment. Devin Nunes requests all relevant documents from CIA, FBI, NSA, and the State Department. So anyway, it's just fun stuff going on everywhere we look, right? Destin Nemos. He's got a lawsuit coming for the First Amendment. He's consolidating a bunch of truthers, bunch of people in the anti-vaccine movement to come together. And as we get censored on the right here, get censored as libertarians, lawsuits coming. And I'll be having him on the show on Saturday at 4 o'clock Central Time. Dustin Nemos will be on to talk more about what he's been planning. It's going to be fun stuff, guys. Again, you want to go to bless2teach.com, bless2teach.com with the number 2 in the middle there to get to all the show notes. You can also just come right down here and just come to the email list. That's the easiest way to keep in touch with me in case I get knocked off is to be on my email list. Another way you can do it is you can go to Contact Us, and you can send me an email directly here on the Contact Us and submit. You can join the email list from here as well. If you want to know what times I usually go live, the About tab right here gives the times that I'm normally going live, CST time. And then the show notes are all right here, guys. And again, I put a lot of time to making sure you guys get all the show notes as well as the proper coupon codes here at bless2teach.com. You can see they render incredibly nice. Included, I put my Romans Road and the prophecies. Now let's dig into another prophecy that I think is fun. But also, hey, when it comes to preparation, guys, they're rats in a corner now. So false flags could be real, Antifa riots could be real. So I'm asking you guys just to prepare in all ways, right? Your ammunition and your guns, your water, making sure you have access to water and you can protect it. And then also, when it comes to food storage, having at least 6 weeks of food storage per person in your house. And that's where preparewithrick.com helps you do that. They set up this site, My Patriot Supply, for me specifically and you as the subscribers. I have a couple of huge boxes of these. Preparewithrick.com, and again, you can get the 2-week supply for $75. I get the actual 4-week supply because you get for less than half the money more food varieties and more calories per day, right? So it's obviously a great deal if you want to get the 4-week versus the 2 weeks. But again, both these are fantastic deals. Go to preparewithrick.com. All right, let's get into this prophecy by Mark Taylor again. I'm on the energy one back to December of 2016, again, way before the election. He already knows this is going to be happening. This was crazy. So a lot of this stuff is happening right before our eyes, where Israel's becoming an exporter of energy. Who would have ever thought that 10 years ago? And then you see America becoming an exporter and becoming energy independent. So here's what Mark Taylor said way back in December of 2016. The Spirit of God says, energy. I am releasing new energy. For this new energy that I'm releasing will make my America and my Israel energy independent. For America and Israel will now be the top energy producers in the world. This new energy and the technology to capture it will spring forth from the depths as a volcano erupts from the depths. This is a sign that will be given. A massive volcanic eruption will signal that this is the time for my America and my Israel and the end of the energy corruption. OPEC, your evil regime will no longer be tolerated. You will no longer be needed, for you refuse to listen to my words and have not heeded. For when that ring of fire blows its top, it will be a sign to you that you will lose your stock and the covenant you have with that ring will be lost. So there's another paragraph here, but before I wanted to kind of talk to you that Marx already feels this has been fulfilled as far as the volcano. I think it was Mount Cinnabon or something like that. That had all kinds of trumpet flowers or something around there. So he looked at that as being the fulfillment of that, and when that blew way back in 2017, I believe. But the second paragraph continues. The Spirit of God says, "You countries that have dominated energy for decades to move your evil agenda are charged with this guilt. Your days are numbered, and you will say, 'Look how fast this was built.' My America and my Israel will be one, and because of this, you will be undone. Because of your rage and the money you made from those countries you manipulated and attacked from within, you will now have to turn to those countries for help on a whim. For your wells will go dry, and your finances too. For you will now be fed from the red, white, and blue." Woo! I tell you what, that is scary stuff for the OPEC nations, and I see this all happening. I know in another prophecy, he talked about oil coming down to lower than $1 a gallon, which hasn't happened yet, obviously. But if new energy comes, this new energy, not just the fact that we're fracking and able to get all this oil in, I think there's going to be new energy. We're talking about free energy and other things that a lot of people talk about. So I think there's going to be Israel and the United States are going to discover a new type of energy that's even going to make them even more independent, and they're going to be the top producers in the world based on this new energy, and that's when that $1 a barrel is going to happen, I believe. And based on everything that happened true with Mark, I have full confidence that's going to happen. Now, Proverbs 27:17. This is one of my Bible memory verses, so I just like to do a Bible memory verse on each of these days. And here is, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Again, it's iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. So this is the healthiness of two believers, two people that love Jesus Christ, and there's Holy Spirit's in them. And instead of living alone in sin and not even knowing you're really sinning sometimes because nobody's calling you out. You put a husband and a wife together, for example, and man, I tell you what, that will sharpen you. You will be able to tell each other's sins, right? But it can sharpen you and make you both better if you let your marriage grow in Christ, as an example, right? Another example would be just two men holding each other accountable, two women holding each other accountable in accountability groups. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And I also should say that people like Neon Revolt and Matrix and Shady and Brain Medic can all sharpen each other. I guess you've got who do you have in there? Also War Drummer / Deacon. We can sharpen each other by telling different points of view. I'd still ask Neon to really consider that there might be something bigger happening here than just a cult trying to take over the Q movement, because the Q movement's way bigger than Ramtha is, right? Way bigger than Ramtha. And so anyway, I just wish we'd stop attacking each other. I'll talk a little bit later maybe about the judging that Neon had a whole article today and talked about the way he interpreted judging is not the way I interpret it. But again, I'm a big Neon fan still. I'm a big Deacon War Drummer fan. I'm a big Matrix fan. Sorry guys, you might be saying, "Hey, don't be so weak. Take a stance." Well, I'm taking a stance. I'm taking a stance on unity, guys. We all are needed. I told you the strengths that some of these guys had, like the strengths of in the Matrix and Shady. I think they just have an awesome show, and they cover a lot more than the Pacieres, Neon. I'm sorry. And Neon's one of the best analyzers and detailed persons. And, I think Brain Medic's done a great job staying out of the fray and just adding value, right? And especially in his Twitter threads. I'm not sure why he's getting into all this UFO stuff, though. That's kind of weird stuff now. But again, I'm a fan of Brain Medic. And I'm a fan of Deacon. I just wish War Drummer would get back to taking news and mixing it with music and doing produced videos versus live videos. I know I personally would watch that a lot more, and I know thousands of others would flock back to his channels if he put his powerful voice back to music and truth information. It doesn't have to be SB2. Do other stuff, right? But anyway, that's my suggestion for those guys, is all to come back in unity. That's my prayer anyway. Let me close this down with prayer, and I'll talk to you guys for a second. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for Mark Taylor and truth it looks like you gave us through him. Thank you for QAnon giving us truth and in many aspects, but also using it to destroy the enemy. Lord, I know that you are behind this, Lord. You can just see your hand behind not only the Q movement and Trump and the white hats taking out and exposing evil. Lord, wow, thank you. Thank you for saving us. Thank you for saving us with Jesus Christ as a free gift, but also thank you for saving us in this time as that you have Trump in here for such a time as this, and it's becoming very obvious. And it's such a beautiful, it just shows your love for us in this world and helping us repair the damage that's there out there, Lord. Thank you for putting your hand on this country. Lord, I pray for everybody that's listening to my voice right now that you will empower each one of them with a mission for what you have planned for them in the next few years as this world changes from dark to light. Lord, speak to them. Give them wisdom and discernment like never before, Lord. I pray that for me as well, that this will be a channel of truth always. And please, Lord, just bless not only them and their roles in this new world, but also just bless their families and their loved ones. And we say these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys, thank you so much for taking some time here on this Thursday night. I probably will not be live tomorrow, but we'll be live Saturday with Neon Revolt. So don't forget that. Neon Revolt at 4 p.m. CST with Neon Revolt. Will be I just said Neon Revolt. Dustin Nemos and the lawsuit. So if you want an update on a true fighting for the First Amendment, he's taken a lead role in that right now. I'm supporting it. And so if you guys really want to do that, join me there. Love Heart, see ya. Midnight Oil, Marine Corps, Alan, Lou, Scoob, Mama First, Midnight Oil, Bruce. We got Janet and Margaret and Law Dog. Thanks for being on here as a monitor. And Amy as well. Diane, Nixit, Patricia, Diane, Jorge, Lenore, Charlotte, Joanne Davis. Monday Killer. Thank you guys for all being here. I love it. Patricia Burm says, unity. Thanks for all the amens. That's right. I love it, guys. So really appreciate you guys. Yeah, thanks for tweeting this out. I don't even have my automatic tweeting for when I'm going live working right now. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm sure Twitter messed with something. So, but this channel is actually shrinking. It's shocking, guys. They have a algorithm on it. For all year plus that I had this channel, every time I did a video, I would get 100 to 200 users for a couple of days. It's straight, and I'd average over 100 users a day. And it is crazy that this channel is shrinking. Ever since March 29th, they put an algorithm on there. Every time I do a video, I lose subscribers. So it's just, that doesn't happen. It's obviously another piece of the evidence we'll be giving the lawyer as we go through this obvious censorship. Perverted Coffee for all the mods. Thanks, Law Dog. Thanks, Lou. Very appreciate that. And Amy being the monitors here. Give those guys some love, guys. And I appreciate you guys making this an awesome community within the Blessed to Teach here, as well as just the whole movement. With that, I'm going to close down. Hit job to impeach by Mueller. But could that just be? Could that just be part of the whole plan? Who knows? We'll find out soon, I think. The SB2 think he's a black hat all the way, and that he literally loves James Comey, and Comey's going down, and then who's going to go next? Maybe Brennan? Going to be an interesting time. This is the Blessed to Teach Show on May 30th. This is Rick, your host. God bless you guys, and we'll catch you in the next show.